Well, welcome back to the Career Diet Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Beleva, a career coach and a LinkedIn learning instructor. My friend, I have been looking back at the episodes that we have done, and I have realized that we've been talking about mindset and confidence and strategy and networking and clarity. But one topic we haven't dove into is interviews. And I'm not even sure how that happened because job interviews is one of my favorite things. In fact, I started the career diet and I started coaching because of job interviews because it is something that I was so bad at in the beginning of my career. And I have learned communication principles, frameworks. I have learned how to structure my prep, exactly what the employers are looking for. And then once I got into recruitment, I really kind of understood it from inside out. So I have gotten so good at job interviews that in actually my latest interview for my last corporate job, the person who became my manager just 15 minutes into the interview and provided it's a senior sales role, high six figures, 15 minutes into the interview. And yeah, I have done multiple rounds by that point, but 15 minutes in, he tells me, "We want you. What would it take for you to come on board?" And I know I've shared this before, but it was just a big moment for me realizing that, wow, I I've mastered this. I finally know how to do this very well, how to interview, how to have fun with it, how to feel very confident into the process, how to be seen as that star candidate. And dare I say it, I actually love doing job interviews. And I live abroad. I speak foreign language. English is my second language. So I have learned how to do this in a foreign language. And I felt like, listen, if I can get to this point, anyone can. And before I started the career diet, again, it was almost 6 years ago. But before I started the career diet, I was actually helping a lot of friends through this process. And I just loved training people for job interviews and teaching them what I now teach my clients. So it's a topic that I really love. So that's what I really finally wanted to talk about on the podcast as well. And I'm actually going to do something very special in this episode. I'm going to share a clip. So, most of this episode will be a clip of me coaching my clients in the Start Canada program. So, that's my signature A to Z job search coaching program where I teach you everything from how to become the most confident, best version of yourself, how to get clarity on what's next for you, and then land your dream six-figure opportunity without applying for, for jobs online. So I am going to share a clip from the coaching session. And typically in our group coaching sessions on Tuesday, I start with a mini training. And the topic for this mini training was confidence for job interviews. And you'll hear me really kind of walk you through what happens, how the employers actually are thinking through interviews, what the interviews are like for them, and what that means for you, the candidate, and how that should affect how you show up. So I have a feeling that you will really enjoy this clip. So the quality might be a little bit different because again, it's a real recording of a real coaching call. But this is really important bit for you to listen to because one of the very common pieces of feedback that I get from my clients is that they feel different, that they feel different through their job search process and in interviews. They feel like, hey, I am relaxed. I'm actually present. I'm listening to what they're saying because I'm not so focused on what I will need to say after. And they really treat it as what it should be, a conversation. Now, I also have, before we share the clip and go into the coaching session, I actually have a very important announcement. And that is for the last actually almost 8 months, I have been working on fully updating Master the Interview course. So it is a separate course that I have specifically on job interviews. It's also part of the job search coaching program, the Start Candidate. And I have fully revamped it for the last 8 months. So the course as is already had a lot of the foundations and frameworks and prep that you need, but we're now really bringing it up to the next level with the interview nerves. And I'll teach you how to create an interview plan, how to do research, how to use the research that you have done for your interviews, and how to bring it up strategically, how to think through the objections that an employer might have about you with the experience that you may not have, and how to talk about that again, intentionally and strategically. And I've really this time with this full actually update, I've fully re-recorded the course. I've really brought it up to the next level with communication frameworks. It is something that we have been working a lot with my clients in the Start Candidate program, but I wanted to make sure that all of those frameworks that we discuss in coaching calls are now recorded. They're now in the course, in the program, and you can use it too. So this means for you specifically, when you are in Master the Interview course, you know exactly the type of stories that you need to prepare. So you are not prepping for specific questions, but rather categories of questions. And you're never caught by surprise. Whoa, I didn't prepare this type of question, and now you're rambling. But you always have an answer that you have already practiced because, again, you'll be so intentional with it. And because it's all based on frameworks, even if somehow it is a question that threw you off and you don't have an answer prepared for it or a story prepared for it, you have practiced frameworks. So it's easy for you to think of an example and now plug it into this framework. So you're not rambling, but you're hitting all the important points. So you're talking about your results, your actions, and with your communication in general, you're very structured, polished, and intentional. And for those of you listening here, I know that you're looking for those 6-figure roles. It is so important for you to learn that, right? To master those communication frameworks. So we have really brought Master the Interview to the next level. So the new Master the Interview course is going live. So that is next week. If you're already Master the Interview or in the Start Canada program, you will get access to it. But if you are right now job searching, if you're prepping for interviews, if you have interviews, then it is the time for you to join us inside Master the Interview 2.0. So again, it's going live next week. If you join us now, you'll get access to the 2.0 version when it goes live. And my friend, the price will be going up because, again, it's now a whole other level. And this course is the only thing that you need to quite literally master the interview skill once and for all. And once you work through it, once you work through the exercises and the stories that I will teach you to prepare for, from now on for the rest of your career, you'll just be going back to it, brushing up on it, and then you're ready for the interview the next day. So the price is going to be going up. Make sure that you join us before it does. And we're also now adding an option to book a one-on-one mock interview with a coach on my team. And my goal was to make it very affordable for you so you can work through the course, practice all of those stories, prepare them, and then actually get real human feedback. Once again, Master the Interview 2.0 is going live next week. The price is going to go up, so make sure that you join us. And now let's dive into this episode and let's get into the coaching session.
Hello, hello. Good to see everyone. All right, my friends. Well, welcome. Today specifically, I want to spend a few minutes and talk about confidence and claiming your confidence going into job interviews specifically. So there are two reasons this is top of mind. Number one, I'm actually fully updating our interview module. And this is one of the lessons that I am adding is specifically on job interviews and specifically confidence for job interviews. But also I know that a few of you from last week told me that you have interviews, you have multiple interviews. So I felt like this is a very time sensitive topic for us to talk about. So let's dive into it. I want to start with this concept of the power dynamic in a job interview. A lot of us, consciously or subconsciously, have this idea that employers have all the power, most of them, because they're the ones with the money, right? They're the ones making the decision to hire you. They're the ones extending you the offer, right? And if that's kind of that, whether again, it's a conscious or subconscious thought, with that, it feels like we have to convince them, right? We have to convince them to hire us. And this idea of convincing doesn't feel very good, right? It feels like we're like, please pick me, choose me. I don't know if you guys, any of you watched Grey's Anatomy, but I did, and I was a big fan. I don't know if any of you remember that scene of Meredith, pick me, choose me. So that's what comes to mind. So instead, here's what I want for you to think about. In reality, you have as much power as the employer in the interview process. And here's why. Think about it from the employer's perspective. Number one, and I talk about this all the time, it is really, really hard for the employer to find the right candidates to even interview. So the reason employers are posting jobs online, the reason they have internal recruiters looking for candidates proactively on LinkedIn, the reason they're tapping into their networks, the reason they, in addition to having their internal recruiters, they go out and hire external recruiters to help. So they try all of these methods because it's really, really hard to find the right person. At the same time, hiring, as you guys already know, is a long and expensive process for the employer. So from the moment someone gives a notice, or from the moment they realize, okay, we have this new client or new project, we need to bring all of these people on board now, it takes them realistically at least a couple of months to get someone to start, because now they have to write the job description, they have to start looking, they have to interview, then you have to give notice where you are, and then they have to, so that's already 2 months minimum. Then from there, it will take you at least a couple of months to really kind of start getting up to speed, and realistically 4 to 6 months to be fully good to go, right? So they don't love doing this, right? It's an expensive and long process for them. So it's a freaking pain for them, right? At the same time, when a hiring manager is hiring, think about it this way, right? So they're looking to bring someone on board. It means that they're lacking resources on their team. So they're already understaffed, right? So they're already not having a good time. And now the hiring manager, who has a job, right? They have a team, they have projects, etc. Now they have to find time to interview, right? So now there is an extra job essentially that they have to do. Obviously, it's part of their job description, but it's not what they do day in and day out. It's an additional task, right? So none of them love doing this. It's a pain in the behind for them to do it. With that, when they extend you an offer to join them for an interview, I'm telling you, they're hoping and praying that you are the one. They never do this for fun. They're never like, oh, let's see who is out there. Let's just have a bunch of interviews and spend this whole day talking to people. No one, I'm telling you, no one is doing that for fun. They're all doing it because when they, again, whether it's a recruiter interview, hiring manager interview, doesn't matter what stage you're in the interview process. If you got that invitation, they're hoping they're going to hire you. Sure, they're interviewing a couple of other people, but they're really hoping that they're going to hire. And they're hoping one of those people or that person. Okay, so that means that they're rooting for you. They want for you to be successful in that interview. So remember when we started, right? With pick me, choose me. They have all the power. They have the money. They're the ones paying us. But in reality, this sucks for them. It's expensive. It's a lot of time and effort. And oftentimes that's what kind of as a candidate you don't see. A lot of the time as an employer, you find an amazing candidate. They say, yes, I'm on board. And then it doesn't work out. They get another offer. So as an employer, you're now back to square one. So now it's from 2 months. Now it's up to 3 months, 4 months. So it's really, really hard for them. Okay. Now let's continue thinking about it from the employer's perspective. So I know there is kind of that thought of, okay, well, if it's really hard for them, why are they making it hard for me? Right? Why are they making me go through X number of rounds of interviews and do the tests and meet with this person and that person and do this project or this case study? Why do I have to prepare a certain way and answer the questions a certain way, right? So here's again from the employer's perspective. They only meet with you 2, 3, I don't know, 4 times for an interview. So they spend with you 2, 3, 4 hours max, realistically, right? That's a very small amount of time to now make the decision that, okay, let's give this person an offer and let's pay them $120,000 a year. That's a very big one-time sale to make. And that's per year, right? So that you will continue to get paid that much every single year there from there on and more. So it's a very big one-time sale to make in a span of 2, 3 hours. So that's why they're putting you through all of that, because it's a big decision and it's a big investment for them. Okay. And making a mistake, so hiring the wrong person, is, again, very expensive and time consuming for them. So again, that's why they're putting you through that process. So they want to make sure, and they're asking you all of those questions and asking you to do a case study. Again, we're talking about good employers. They're always bad apples, but that's not what we're talking about here. They're doing that because they want to make sure, because they're so desperate for you to come on board and take things off of their plate, that they want to make sure that you're the right fit. Now, you too are there to make sure that it's a fit. So you're there to assess if this is a role for you. Okay? So back to that idea of this is a conversation. This is the power dynamic. Sure, they have the money, but you have the time and the skills that they are desperately looking for, right? So the power dynamic is equal. This is a reminder that you are a star candidate, that you do have options, that employers want you, and they're hoping that they're going to hire you. So with that, do what you need to for the interview, meaning you're doing your research, you're preparing your stories, you're practicing your stories, but have fun. Because if we're going into it with the idea of the power dynamic is equal, employer going into the interview is not stressed about the interview, right? They're excited, right? Ooh, is this going to be the right person? Maybe hopeful this is going to be the right person, but they're not stressed. So being nervous is normal going into the interview, because it's kind of a weird thing to do, right? You're kind of in this environment and you're talking about just yourself in a certain way, and you have to think of these examples. It is a bit of a weird thing to do. So it's normal to be nervous. Everyone gets nervous. And I always give this example of, artists or performers on stage who perform big concerts, who play to thousands, tens of thousands of people. They still get nervous every single time, even though they've done it. And they know that they're loved and that they know that they're good at what they do. They still get nervous, but they're not stressed, right? There's a difference there. So go into it with, let's find out if I truly want this opportunity. Again, I'm going to do the things that I need to do because it's hard for the employer to make this decision, because it's a big decision. But I'm going to go in, have fun, and see if I want this role. So I have 3 journaling prompts for you. If I had multiple offers on the table, what would I want to know about this role before making a decision? Right? So if we're there to assess if this is the right fit, so what is it that I actually need to know about this role to make the decision that this is right for me or not right for me? Number 2, again, if I had multiple offers on the table, would this be the right role for me? And the final one, and this is really, really powerful. If I believed that I had options, How would I show up in this interview if I knew that I had options? How would I be showing up in this interview? Probably wouldn't be stressed, right? So, what thoughts would I have going into the interview if I knew that I had options? Right? Probably like, yeah, let's have fun. Let's see if I want this role. Let's show them how amazing I am, but let's have fun and see if I want this role. So, what thoughts would I have going into the interview if I knew I had options? How would I show up?
All right, my friend, I am so curious how you enjoyed this clip from our coaching session. And I'm really curious how you feel now and what you're thinking about job interviews, because my goal is for you to really get into that place where you feel like it's a conversation, where you're relaxed, you're excited, you're exploring, and there's no pressure. As always, send me a note on Instagram at The Career Diet or on LinkedIn at Anna Beleva. We'll also link them in the show notes down below. Let me know how this episode resonated with you. Cannot wait to talk to you. And once again, Master the Interview Course 2.0 is going live next week, and the price is going to go up. So make sure that you join us before it does. That's it for today. I will see you and talk to you very soon.